It is Sunday, and you know what that means. It means it's time to hang out with Carrie and Adam from Whole Life Entrepreneurship.
Hanging out with Carrie and Adam.
You have an extraordinary... Oh, keep it up. Oh. You got a lot of energy for the kids almost going to bed.
Maybe that's where it came from.
Finish
I'm
line?
like, final push.
Now, hey,
Final push. We can get through this evening and everybody go to bed and nobody fight much.
nobody fight much.
Except that she just came in here and tried to steal my charger. I'm like, use your charger.
Hey, look, on the plus side, kids tried a lot of new things. They did a lot of good stuff. It's been a really good day, but it has been non-stop. I don't know if anyone can relate to a non-stop day of good things, and then you're just like, nobody talk to me. Leave me alone.
Yeah, well, there is some of that, but we have had an especially challenging week.
I don't remember it,
You've blocked it out already?
most likely.
We have had an especially challenging week working together.
Oh, that. It's just whatever. It's fine.
Guys, they told us it would be hard,
Still will be. But
but they did not tell us it would be this hard to work together all the time. They didn't tell us that. I don't know who they are. They may have strongly suggested that we not do this, but here we are nonetheless, and we have started a business together. And we talk a lot about what it's been like for Adam to have his business and for me to be his partner and not really know what was going on. But we allude a lot to the fact that we work together, but we don't focus a lot of our content on that.
Is that what we're doing today?
Looks that way.
Yeah, we don't have an org chart, people. Most companies have this person's the CEO, and then you have the chief operations officer who's concerned about the moving parts and all of the things. Nope. We are a year and a half old startup with nobody having a defined role or defined responsibilities. It's kind of like I'm juggling, and then I throw stuff her way, and then she juggles and throws stuff that. And there's a side effect. Are you ready? Miscommunication.
Oftentimes it is miscommunication. I will say this, because we do know each other so well, I think that we're very, very fortunate that sort of like whoever's down, the other one is able to pick up for. And there's not like... There's not a bunch of resentment in that.
I feel like we're professional wrestlers, and when I'm in the figure four leg lock, I can reach out and tag, and you'll jump in and you like kick.
Yeah, we do kind of like tap each other in and out depending on who's really struggling at the time. This week, though, what ends up happening with us is that Adam is a big picture person. He's a visionary. I really respect that about him. I think that.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, you too. I think that there aren't many people like you out in the world. I'm serious. I mean, not to like toot your own horn. I actually called you a savant this week because there's so many things that related to business just come so naturally to you. You just see a path that other people don't see. And that I myself get really, really bogged down in the weeds about. Because you are big strategy and I am smaller tactical. Yeah? And so we had an issue this week where those two things butted heads. Because he's big vision, he gets a little carried away sometimes. He gets really excited about new ideas. He wants to go after the new, the shiny. And I'm like, let's just finish one thing. Just the one thing. Let's finish one thing. Let's finish one thing, and then we'll move on to another thing. And you're like, no, you don't understand.
Don't think I said that.
Yeah, you said you don't understand. You don't understand. I have a plan. You don't understand. It's going to fit into this bigger thing. And I'm like...
Are we talking about our CrossFit workout where I try to tell you how to do the burpees?
No, there is a program that you really, really like, and you wanted to follow that methodology.
That was last week.
No, that was
It's
earlier
been a
this week.
long
It has been
week.
a very long week. I know. It's been a really, really, really long week. But do you remember this now? That
Sure.
there was this thing that he saw that he really, really liked. He wanted us to all stop what we were doing and implement it right then. Except that he did not really explain exactly what the team and I were supposed to be doing. And he's just like, no, we're just gonna do this. It's just gonna be super easy. But it's gonna take like another few hours that we didn't have to try and come up with this new thing. And I'm like, whoa, we have a thing that's gonna work. We haven't cleared what you want to do through the powers that be with some partnerships that we're working with. He's like, no, it's fine. We're just gonna do it this way. And I'm like, I'm gonna push back. I don't think that we should derail what we're doing right now. And you're like, no, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, I don't want to waste my time doing something in a way that isn't going to be exactly what our customer needed and expected and asked for. And so can we wait? No, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And there was just like such a gap in you telling me exactly what you wanted. You thought I was making a bigger deal out of it, and I wasn't that big of a deal. You think I was making, I say think, because it looks like you still think it. I was making a big deal out of nothing. Oh, Raphael knows what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about when you're working with your spouse. It's a thing. So how do you feel about it? You feel attacked all over again?
I have no idea what's going on. I have moved on, so give me a moment to process.
See, this is what happens. I get really hung up on details and stuff because I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. He's looking on the horizon, and so he may be tripping along the way because
not that kind of tripping. Come on, people, tripping over my feet.
But sometimes, the details get in your way of your bigger vision.
Cool.
Can you talk a little bit about how it was for you when you were just trying to explain?
Sometimes it is difficult when you are thinking about an abstract idea and you're talking to folks and they will take what you said as an immediate action item. And it goes back to when I was talking about juggling all these balls. There is miscommunication all over the place. What came across to the people I work with as we have to stop everything, was actually, in my opinion, from my point of view, I was merely thinking out loud and working through a cool idea that I think can be really, really powerful. If you're not prepped and you're not in sync with what the context is, it can be a real shaker-upper. So, it is difficult. When it's time to work tactics, it's time to work tactics. When it's time to work strategy, it's time to work strategy. And if you spring one or the other on your spouse or on your business partner or on your employees, and you haven't set the context for the conversation, you're gonna make a lot of conflict, a lot of unnecessary conflict.
The context was we were doing our to-do lists. And that's what happened. You're like, oh, we have to set aside some time to do this. So it wasn't just some lofty thing. We were setting aside time and actually assigning tasks. But you had not even explained what we were doing.
Yep, see? Context. Yep.
Well, how do you think that we can communicate that better going forward?
Where we landed was we have to do less things. Because there is zero time for communication. We have been going nonstop. This kid here has been on the laptop all day long. We are in hustle mode. It is time to go. And what we've decided is we have to really narrow our scope and do less so there's bandwidth for conversations around other things, and actually schedule that time. And the fascinating part is you actually get more progress when you do less. It's very, very straightforward. If you focus on something and it has more of your attention, that thing moves forward. If you're focusing on the right things and the right things are moving forward, the whole project moves forward. So that is what we have ended up doing. A lot more focus, a lot more intentionality, and the questions we ask each other in the middle of all that are very telling. It's how we help each other get back on track. Hey, great. Sounds like you're passionate about that. Where does it fit in the current tactical thing that we're working on?
Right.
Oh, great. Fantastic. I love all that. I can't have an opinion about that right now because I'm working on this right over here. The same token is, hey, when are we going to pause to think more than looking down at your skis? Because you got to look down the mountain too. And so those are the conversations that we're having now, is how do you do this kind of thing? And again, you go back to roles and responsibilities, and we're still too early. It's still hustle, hustle, hustle. It's
survival mode.
Oh, one of the kids is sick and threw up everywhere. I guess tag.
That really is what it feels like. It feels like when you have a new baby. That's what it feels like. It feels like we are just like, right, you take care of it. Now you take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I really want for people to know, and hear me out when I say this. Hear me out. We are active student teachers, which means that I think it's really important for us to share these things with you guys and not pretend like we've got it all together all the time, because we're still learning so much. It's true that we are trying very, very hard to keep our scope really narrow. We are so good at building in blocks of time to practice these things.
Mm-hmm.
We really, really are. What happens in the moment is that because there's nobody really like in charge, there's a little bit of this. And so what we say and how we say it matters.
That's true.
So when it comes to communication, even in 16 years of knowing each other, sometimes we don't know how to speak to one another.
But this is the interesting thing that I think most people are going to jump to the same conclusion that statement kind of leads to. If you've been with somebody 16 years, you should know how to talk to them.
And it should be totally easy to start a business with them.
But here's the thing. I'm not the person I was 16 years ago. She's not the person she was 16 years ago. You lack the conversation skills for the new person.
Who lacks what?
No, I was talking about, it's Micah. Micah lacks. No, the reason why people should go to counseling as preventative maintenance, like a checkup on their engine for their car, is because as people grow and become new people, you need new conversation tools. You need new ways of communicating. That's why Carrie says we're a student as well as a teacher, is because as long as life continues moving, we got to continue learning, and it is a nonstop thing. And to chase a nirvana where everything is perfect forever is a fool's journey. This is a high contact, full contact, messy life that in the middle of it all, you can have an incredible amount of joy. And that's what I'm shooting for.
Well, and that's why, and our good friend Trisha Hart talks a lot about this entrepreneurial life being such a roller coaster. I mean, as high emotionally as we were in our upset earlier this week, we can equally be highly emotional in our excitement. I mean, it's just like so cool. Such cool things are happening. Such amazing things are happening. We have had so many successes. Like, things are getting easier. Things are starting to work like clockwork. You can see all of the things fitting together. And it's a joy that I can't even describe. It's actually even different. I'm not going to say better, but different than when we had kids. And that level of excitement. It's different. I can't explain it. Can you put a word to it?
I would use different. So it is. Everything's different. The kids are different.
It's a little bit of scary feeling, though, mixed up in all that.
The most successful we had ever been, when everything was getting started, we were the most ignorant. Now that we know so much more, I teach this stuff to people. And now we're doing it ourselves.
We're conflict resolution mediators.
Well, I mean, just business.
We still fight.
Right? Just
yes.
Now you go from a novice who just shows up and works hard to an expert who has 1,000 techniques and strategies. and it turns out everything takes the same amount. None of the amazing ideas and strategies, and no matter how hard she works, the business and life take the time it takes. And when you get all worked up about it, it doesn't help it. It just sends you into a toxic state. And so with kids, I think exhaustion was wonderful. That was the thing that kept us getting through it, is we would fall asleep immediately when we had a chance. We're right there now, though, where we have kids we still have to take care of.
Yeah.
And so with the startup grind, with the startup hustle, the psychological warfare we're putting on ourselves, at least me personally, is I think to myself, I know this stuff, I should do better, I should move faster. I can take shortcuts no one else can take. I can jump to the next level and the next step because of what I've done in the past. And nope, it's going to take what it takes.
Yeah, and our good friend, our good, close, dear friend, Rachel Hollis, said as much to you in front of a gazillion and two people. And she's right. She was right then. She's right today. Shortcuts aren't going to get you where you want to go. I mean, we tried them all, trust me, and it doesn't work that way. If you start something new, you start at a 1 out of 10 all over again.
So let's tie this all up in a nice little bow and see whether or not we can high five these folks.
Yeah.
When we're having conflict in our business and our relationship, typically it's because of poor communication and miscommunication. The reason we have poor communication and miscommunication is that we are not on the same page of what needs to be done and what priorities it is. When we relax from our fear state and settle into our this stuff is going to happen no matter what state, we are able to look at what's the next right thing to do in the bigger overarching picture and calm down and settle and execute.
Right.
And when we're there and we're doing that, 1, we have more free time. 2, we make more progress than we've ever made. 3, we start generating revenue. And 4, we remember what our kids look like.
But also, in doing all of this, it's still really, really important to remember that we love each other.
Oh yeah, that. I don't need to remember. I never forget, people. Never forget. Never need reminding. Love her all the time.
Now, I mean to say that we respect each other and what each other brings to the table. You bring something that I don't have. And I respect that about you. So I have to respect your business savvy and defer to you in some of those ways and not always come at things so emotionally and feel like I'm fighting for my way. And you have to come at me with maybe a little bit of an understanding of my particular skills.
You have the ability to triage massive amounts of moving parts and pick the right thing to do next based off of the instantaneous today's needs. This person drives our daily schedule. This person is the one who helps take this chaos and turns it into an actionable plan. When that happens, I have to turn it off and follow the plan.
Right.
You know, we keep saying the most complicated, wonderful strategy fails where the most straightforward, hardcore executed plan succeeds. And so when the choice is made and the plan is in motion, it gives nobody any benefit to say, wait, what about this? No, just get the thing done. Finish what's in front of you.
Sometimes, and this will be the last thing I say, sometimes you just gotta pocket that ego. Just pocket that ego.
I'll put it in my pocket here. That way I can get to it quicker. I want people to see my big ego in this pocket up here. They're like, Adam, you got such a huge heart. I got a heart for my ego.
All right, guys. We're going to let you go for the night. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Hey, this stuff is rough. We're not acting like it's not, but it's totally worth it. And I'm so glad that we're doing it together. I'd rather do it with you than anybody else.
Me too.
Bye, guys.